Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another week of TGP2 action. Tonight we are racing in Portugal, and then we will be off to the iconic, the legendary Monaco. There's no other circuit like it. But first of all, the drivers are going to have to get through this challenge of this wet qualifying session here at Portimao. First time I've ever seen a wet session around this track, I have to say, and the drivers have actually been doing pretty well, to be fair. They haven't been struggling a huge amount. But right now you can see that John Menzies has a huge advantage at the top of 9/10 with a 1:28.4, the fastest lap so far. He is looking set for pole at the minute. And we've got Bazet in second place. We've got Dom in third. Then it's the championship leader, Daniel Wheelnut, is down in fifth. And the driver who's just 9 points behind him, Cena, is in seventh. So the championship, two main championship contenders, struggling at the moment. And we've got Jacko in sixth place as well, who's also still fighting for the championship. But fascinating current grid, but we'll see if it changes at all in the next 3.5 minutes, as I think the rain actually might be letting off a little bit compared to what it was towards the start of the session, so you might be able to see some big improvements here. And just to say that, Daniel Wheelnut, got championship leader, goes into second place to make it Mercedes 1-2 for the moment. Alongside me then tonight to watch both of these races is Roy. Hello, Roy.
Good evening, Daniel. Yeah, I mean, wet sessions, you never know what to expect, and I think at a track like this, it's very, very difficult to keep it together because there's plenty of places that you can spin. And just on board with Cena, who's invalidated yet again. It seems every time I go on board with him, there's a big red track map next to his car. So he will remain seventh for now. And to be honest, Cena is someone I would have definitely expected to fight for pole position because he tends to be very quick in these conditions. So I think P7 is definitely not his best. So still just about enough time, although his fuel light is already on. So I don't know if he's actually got enough fuel for the rest of the session.
Well, this could be a worry for Cena going into this race then, but we've got just over 2 minutes to go, and it is definitely looking a bit brighter than what it did towards the start of the session. We've only got Neljak and Red Bull Kim trying out Inters though, and Neljak just finished the lap and couldn't improve on his 14th position, so clearly wet tyres still seem to be the way to go, as Bazet improved slightly, I think, on that last lap. He's gone third. Dom's still in fourth place then, so Shep's gone off the track. He's in an excellent fifth at the minute, and Jacko, whoa! Well, he's lucky that did not go and destroy the car. I don't know if he got damage. It doesn't even look like he got any damage from that.
I don't think so, no, but then again, you know how this game is, sometimes you get that damage that you can't actually see.
Yeah.
So he probably has that, I would imagine. If not, then yeah, I mean, he's extremely lucky, but so I'd imagine P6 maybe is a limit then if that is the case. I think a lot of these drivers haven't really timed it very well. Cena, let's see if Cena's actually on another lap. He is, he may just about have enough here. And to be honest, you can find decent chunks of time here without using up all of your fuel and deployment. I think, he'll be compromised for sure.
I think that's it.
Oh.
It's over for Cena. I think he is out of fuel. And he pulled off to the side of the track. He suddenly stopped, and Cena, he was improving, but that's it for Cena now. He's going to be no higher than seventh. Disaster for him. But to be fair, there might not be too many improvements, and we've got quite a few DNFs. But Mike Noon's invalidated his lap just behind him. Anyway, further up ahead, Dom's invalidated the lap, and he's about to start again. We've got John Menzies, who's backed off on this lap. So no improvements just yet then. Wheelnut also backed off. He's going to try and get one more lap in. Don't know if he'll have time to get there or not. It might be quite tight, 24 seconds to get. It might be quite tight here for Wheelnut. But Dom is on a lap, but he's invalidated it already, so he must have done something at the end of the last lap. So that's it for Dom. So no improvement there either.
See if Mick Schumacher can find any sort of improvement. I think he's the only driver kind of on the radar right now. I think those are Mercedes who are starting laps. You see one of them peel off the pits. That's Wheelnut.
Yeah, Wheelnut's
Marco...
pits. Oh, what's a line?
Yeah, Marco was off to Spain. He did not improve his time. Mike Noon, I think, is on a lap. He's a bit down at... was on a lap. Jacko's still going.
Yeah.
Owen Angel versus Death was P13, but...
He won't be anyone. Jacko scored at the final corner! Wow!
Well,
Well, he was
he's gone into the pits.
slightly down. Yeah, it's a nice entry. Oh no, he's
Oh,
choosing
okay.
not to
Well,
go
that's
there
a bit
anyway.
illegal, Benny.
But he's going to cross the line, and that's it for him. So no real improvement at the end of the session when the conditions were certainly a lot brighter. We have
Stereogram.
still got Stereogram on a lap here. Angel versus Death, who's been disqualified, gets out the way. But can Stereogram spring a bit of a surprise here on the inters? It was a bit wide through there. He's slightly up. So if he can have a good final sector, he could improve a little bit. He has got to find nearly 2 seconds, though, to improve position, but still, he might be able to improve his time. So the grid doesn't really change then. It is going to be a Mercedes 1-2 for this race. The championship leader starting second, and Stereogram
Oh
invalidates his
no.
lap, which is
Hopefully
a
he
shame.
completes the lap. I want to see if it would be any kind of improvement for him. Oh, okay. He's gone a bit wide again.
Well, yeah, he got into the 132s there, didn't he? So he would have managed that, but yeah, the invalidation there for Stereogram. So no drivers improving at the end of the session, which is a bit of a surprise, but that's going to be the grid for the race.
Yeah, I mean, John Menzies set that lap. It feels like, in the first half of that session, he's just kind of sat there for, for the rest of it. But yeah, John Menzies then takes pole position in his team of the week, Mercedes, with Daniel P. Whelan, championship leader, joining him on the front row. Baz is an excellent P3 with Dom in fourth, M. Shep a stellar P5, Jacko is sixth, Cena a disappointing seventh given the conditions, with Mike Noon, Mick Schumacher, and Blair Grills rounding out the top 10. I think Sayer Sports is probably going to be your driver to watch in this race. He'll be starting from P16.
Well, we know that Cena gets those famously good starts, so he'll be hoping to do that once again here at the start of Portimao, because he is certainly going to need it. Of course, he won last time out, you remember, in Monza, the very difficult race for Wheelnut when he made that pit stop under the VSC, when we believe he thought it was a full safety car, but it obviously wasn't. It was only a VSC, and it cost him big time. So he's 204 points. Cena is 9 points behind on 195. Then 40 points back is Dom on 164, and then Jacko on 163. So Dom and Jacko are going to need a few more dodgy results from the likes of Daniel P. Wheelnut and Cena if they want to get really back into the title fight. Let's see what happens here in Portimao.
Yeah, and we've a much different picture in terms of the weather, and let's see how the drivers fare when it's dry. As
Be
we get
tight
ready
choice as
to
well, of
go.
course.
Oh yeah, let's see what they go with. Could see a good mix of strategy here, if we ever get going.
Yeah, it's if we actually see a grid. Oh,
Here
there
we
we go.
go, and the lights begin to illuminate on the gantry. And we are away in Portugal, and it looks like a fairly even start at the front with John Menzies maintaining the lead. Actually, maybe a bit of a better start there for Daniel P. Whelan. He is on the softs. John Menzies opted to start the race on the mediums, and we have contact for Dom. Dom's gone around, and we have Daniel P. Whelan now into the lead with Cena up to P3, although he's missed the apex completely for turn number 3, so that's him being overtaken now by Baza, but Cena drives straight around the outside of turn 4. Not entirely sure how legal that is,
Yeah,
and he does relinquish the position, which is good to see. The Ferrari, Jacko on Mike Noon being lunged on by someone else. Well, there you go. But Mike Noon then up into P5, Cena back down to P4 after starting 7th, was 3rd briefly at one moment, but crucially then it's Daniel P. Wheelnut with a 1.4 second lead. I do wonder if there's damage on the front of John Menzies' car, because he did make contact with his teammate at the start, but of course he is on the medium tyre, so you would expect Wheelnut to pull away in these early stages.
Well, I mean, Mike Noon has just hit the side of the Ferrari. He's hit Shep there, and somehow they both managed to recover. And Mick Schumacher just goes upstairs, I'll collect those positions then, and jumps up to 6th place. But yeah, Don had a flying start, tried to send it into turn 1, tapped the back of Wheelnut, and then Wheelnut, I think, hit John Menzies. But as you said, don't know whether they got damage or not, but Wheelnut done well there to stay in the race. Here's Bazza. Is he going to go for 3rd place here? He's got a run on Cena, and it looks like Bazza, if he can get on the brakes, he should have this done, although Cena's got the better line into turn 1. Cena runs slightly wide but maintains 3rd position, and Dom is in the pit lane.
Oh, and Baza, he tried to lunge up the inside of turn 3. Maybe he just missed his braking point a little bit. It is a tricky braking point to spot. And Baza then, he is spun round. Don't know if there's any damage on that Ferrari, but he's now down into P8 after being overtaken by Chris Johnson, who's had a pretty good first lap himself. But the intervals were all fairly spread out at the moment, although Neljak has just managed to get his way past M. Shep in the Haas. Still fighting on the run down to turn number 7, and M. Shep thought he was going to go for it up the inside there, but he elected not to in the end. So we're fairly close in the mid-pack, it has to be said.
Yeah, it's close here with Mick Schumacher and Blair Grills. Mick Schumacher's had a fantastic start. But Blair Grills, look at this, he's going to send one here. Into turn 12 is that, I think, but he's gone too deep there, and Mick Schumacher gets back ahead then. So he's got a penalty, Mick Schumacher, but he is in a decent 5th place for the time being. 2-second leads for Wheelnut at the front. But as you say, John is on those medium tyres, and he's the highest place running on the medium tyres, and it's down to Bazza in 8th place, who's next up on mediums. So they've got a spinner, and is that Dom again? No, it's not. It's Mike Noon who's gone spinning there. So Dom might be able to get past Mike Noon now as the guys at the front start the 3rd lap, and DRS becomes enabled, and Shep's just being overtaken, I think, as he there by Mr. John, who goes up into 10th place, but Shep might come back at him. No, I don't think he will, and they're all going to be line of staying going into turn 1 then as they start the 3rd lap of this race.
I do wonder if M. Shep has maybe a little bit of damage, because I know he had contact before. Mr. John almost going for a spin there after contact with, I believe that was Neljak in the Williams ahead. There's a lot of drivers struggling to keep it within the confines of the racetrack at turn number 4. And I think he should be allowed to use that curb, but that's a discussion for another day. As M. Shep still battling now with Mr. John, not able to find a way past. I think Mr. John was quite lucky to save the car in that moment. Thought he was going to pivot round, but he's managed to keep it pointing in the right direction and remains inside the top 10. Blair Grill still very close to the back of the Red Bull of Mick Schumacher, and surely he'll be shaping up a move for P5.
Well, something that I remember from doing races around here was that the medium tyres do seem to last for quite a long time around here. You really do not have much tyre degradation once you put the medium tyres on, so we could see John running quite long in this race. But is this going to be Neljak here side by side with Mr. John through the final couple of corners? Oh, this is going to be tight. Hopefully they don't make contact, and Mr. John makes the position up, and Neljak in fact decides to get rid of those soft tyres at the moment as Bazza overtakes Chris Johnson for 7th place.
Mick Schumacher was heading off to the Atlantic Ocean there. I don't know what kind of line he was taking through turns 1 and 2, but Blair Grill somehow is still stuck behind the Red Bull. Wonder if there will be any complaints made about that later on. Will Blair Grills lunge up the inside of the hairpin? He will not. But I think Blair Grills is probably a building sense of frustration there. He'll be desperately hoping he can clear Marco in the Red Bull sooner rather than later. And M. Shep has just lost another position now to Indecisive Mackie. I do wonder if he has a bit of damage.
Well, look at Cena. Cena is closing in here on John Menzies, and he's now got the gap down to less than a second. So he will have DRS on this next lap if he can stay with them through the final part of this lap, which he almost certainly will. And will he be able to have a run to get into 2nd place just behind the championship leader, Daniel P. Wheelnut? Let's see. Tries to get a good exit through here, flat out. He'll try and get a bit of a toe, and he'll enable the DRS. Now, how is John going to defend this? Well, can't see him even gain at all. He's not using his DRS, interestingly. Maybe he's going to wait for the next DRS zone as Mike Nunes crashed out there. Oh, it's a big crash on the racing line, is that? So it's a full safety car because of that. Well, this is going to change a lot of things then, and well, this isn't fantastic for John Menzies, because surely he will have to pit, and they have to do 12 laps on these soft tyres. Cena was just about to line up a move on Menzies. Might have to overtake him on the road now, but actually perhaps not, because Menzies might have to queue, of course. But it's a pretty big gap, so maybe not a really long wait in the pit box. They've obviously improved that slightly on the game now, but yeah, he might have to queue for a little bit. He might lose that position to Cena. Meanwhile, though, the guys who had not completed the lap before the safety car came out have come into the pit lane. Shep, Stereogram, Indy vs Death, Red Bull, Kim, all coming in then. And Dom's coming in again, and Neljak. I think it was like 3 of them all come together there. Mike New and Neljak and Dom all seem to have an instant together. And obviously one of them, Mike New, is out of the race. But let's see what happens at the front then. Surely everybody on soft tyres will come in, but I don't know, will John try and stay out on the mediums?
I think tyre wear is quite good around here. I think he can probably just about push a fresh set of softs to the end of the race. Because we probably will get another 2 laps behind the safety car, so I think it's just about doable. So I think if I was in John's position, yeah, I would just pit.
Well, there we go
Indeed he
then.
has. Let's see how much he gets held up actually. Let's go on board with the second place Mercedes driver, and yeah, Wheelnut is still in the box. He's lost a little bit of time. I think Cena will just jump him
Will he?
and yeah, I think
Oh, we have
just
to slow
about.
there for the Ferrari as well.
Where's Cena
And
then? Cena's
Cena's
ahead.
got him. Cena's got the position there because he had to that extra couple of seconds waiting for Wheelnut to leave the pit lane and having to wait for the Ferrari. So Menzies into third place. Cena is going to be able to have a run at the championship lead and Wheelnut at the restart of this race then. So that is fantastic for us in terms of a championship battle. Not great if you're John Menzies, but of course he is now on those soft tyres. But he has to make them last for the next 11 laps as got the other drivers coming into the pit lane as well. Not sure there's been any more significant changes in position.
Don't think there has been. I've got the tyre graphic up just to see who is on what tyre, and so the drivers who will be on softs are John Menzies, Baza, M. Shep, and Dom's currently on softs at the back. Now I do wonder if he will just decide to pit again and just throw on a set of mediums just to ensure he will make the end of the race. So
No,
no, he decides
no,
not
he's not
to.
doing that.
Well, I mean,
No,
I think
almost.
I recall tyre wear being quite decent around here.
I mean, certainly the mediums, but I don't know really with the softs, but they weren't fantastic for me. But I always pit really early in the two races that we've done around the GP1. I think I did very early with the soft tyres to put the mediums on because I quite like them around this track. So, yeah, maybe he can get them to the end, but he certainly will be struggling, you'd imagine, as Joe Sayer also pit there and put another fresh set of soft tyres on as well then. So probably going to have one more full lap under the safety car then before we get going. And it's going to be interesting to see how Wheelnut will judge this restart because Cena will be right there, and it's not really, it's sort of difficult really to try and judge exactly when to go for it on a track like this because of that flat out end to the lap. Would you think he's going to go just as soon as they cross the line or earlier on?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell. Someone made contact?
Shep spun. Shep has spun on the track there, so that is at the final corner, and he's lost a few positions because of that.
So Shep now down to P14. It's not going to do his tyres a lot of good going for a spin, so he'll have to overtake his teammate amongst others. I mean, Dom Smith currently in P17 on the soft tyres. He's going to have to make them last, and I really am fascinated to see just how far up the field he can go. We've got a Stereogram running in P8 at the moment.
Yeah,
so,
and that's legitimate as well. He's pitted as well.
He's having an excellent race. Mick Schumacher's still running in 5th, much to Blair Grill's annoyance, I'm sure, but he's having a pretty decent race out there. But at the front, yeah, it's been fairly static, and hopefully we'll see static, stagnant. Either way, I think they both apply. So let's see.
It might be about to kick off, especially if we have Cena having a run here on Wheelnut. Of course, if he was to win this and Wheelnut was to finish in second, it would be a 7-point swing in the championship. As Bazet has been given a yellow flag here for ignoring. A penalty for ignoring
a yellow flag for ignoring the 5-second penalty.
But I'm not sure what happened. I'm not sure. Was Bazet ahead initially? I think he was. Wasn't he?
Yeah, because I remember saying Stereogram's 8th, and now he's 7th, now he's 8th, now they keep switching around.
There's something going on here with Stereogram and Bazet. Do you know what? I have a feeling you might not be able to see each other. I wonder if that's what it might be. Possibly. Although I haven't seen that glitch for a while. But either way, I assume Bazet will get that removed, but we'll see. Anyway, as we're about to get going for the restart here in Portimao, and when will the Mercedes of Wheelnut decide to go for it?
Yeah, he's kind of in a difficult position here. You don't really have a huge amount of time to let the safety car go, because ideally you'd probably maybe want to go before the final proper corner, but he's gone for it now, and I think he's actually judged that quite well. Cena not reacting as well as he should have, and John Menzies is nowhere as Baza retires from the session. Not sure what happened there. Certainly not expected, as John Menzies was under pressure there from Jacko, but now he can make use of those soft compound tyres, and almost immediately he's onto the back of Cena just up ahead. But Cena now, he's able to put pressure on the Mercedes in front of him of Daniel P. Wheelnut, but I don't think he's going to do it into the hairpin on this lap. Further behind, we've got Mick Schumacher quite close to Jacko, but not close enough to mount any sort of challenge. But this is where John Menzies really needs to make an impression.
Let's watch what's going on here between Angel versus Death and Shep. They're quite close here, side by side, as they run through turn 7. Oh, he didn't touch somehow. Somehow they just about got away with that. Oh, Indecisive spun ahead of them, so he'll surely drop to the last now. But at the front, it's half a second between Wheelnut and Cena. Is Cena going to get ready for the move on the next lap? I had a quick look at Stereogram's stream, by the way, and I think Baz was lagging quite massively. But I'm not sure if it was Stereogram's lag or Baz's lag. But either way, Stereogram's now left the session and Baz is out the race, so I'm sure that'll get looked at afterwards.
Yeah, it's one of those awkward safety car incidents that we can never really judge because we don't really know what's going on, because it's not really something we should be expecting to see. But Cena then, he's comfortably within the DRS margin. Of course, DRS not enabled on this lap. They're fairly even in terms of the amount of available deployment. Wheelnut doing, I think, slightly better than Cena, but there's not much difference in it, to be honest. So as long as Cena can keep within a second in these initial laps and then use DRS to his advantage later on, as the McLaren of Angel versus Death goes for a spin at the rear of the field. But Cena then, he's getting quite close, and John Menzies doesn't really look like he has the pace. I don't know if he's saving his tyres or if these two just have a lot more pace.
Oh, Cena nearly going into the back of Wheelnut there. I don't think he expected him to be as early on the brakes as he was, but Cena is surely going to be having a go here when DRS is enabled on the next lap. If he can just stay with him throughout the end of this one, as the end of the final sector. But yeah, as you say, John, well, he's actually just gone purple here, second sector, so he's gained a bit of time. His Indecisive spun again at that corner, turn 8 I think it is, isn't it? It's very difficult on traction. So he's dropped to the back of the field now, but at the front, Cena, he uses ERS and then immediately turns it off again. You've got around about the same. Wheelnut now using a little bit more. Cena now uses it. The ERS won't be enabled now, of course, but it will be enabled in just a few corners' time on the run to turn 4.
Yeah, and Blair Grylls, I think, may finally have found a way past Mick Schumacher into turn number 1. Mick Schumacher tries to hang around the outside, but it was Blair Grylls' corner, so Mick Schumacher will have to relinquish that position and will drop to P6. Cena then, yeah, he's got the DRS down this straight. Not the most effective DRS zone, but it does help you to at least maintain the gap you have to the car in front. So Cena then, he's looking, he looks to be in a pretty good position.
He does indeed, yeah. He couldn't really get too close there, as you say, through that short straight with the DRS, but will he have a go down the start-finish straight next time round? As I say, 7-point swing in the championship between these two here. That's obviously not counting fastest lap. I don't know who has the fastest lap at the minute. It's actually Wheelnut himself, so it will only be 6 points. But anyway, Cena is going to try and get the lead here, and John Menzies is a second back, so he's fallen back a little bit. Chris Johnson gaining a little bit more now, and Mick Schumacher as well. So is Mick Schumacher going to start to fall down the field a little bit? He has got some penalties as well, Mick Schumacher, sped in the pit lane. But here's Cena then, 6/10 back. DRS will be enabled. He'll probably have to be using his ERS as well here, and he's not using it. So he obviously doesn't really want to go for it at the minute, because you're not going to close in right now like that. Is he going to wait again for the next DRS zone?
It looks like it, yeah. He's slightly better in terms of his deployment, though. But again, only by a few percent. So it's not. It's a little bit of a stalemate out there. But I don't think this DRS zone's going to change too much. But I think Cena, what I've noticed in previous races, he can be quite smart with his deployment. So, you know, he understands that, you know, you can bide your time with the deployment, although I say that he uses it coming out of that hairpin, which is not really the most fruitful place to use it. But Wheelnut is clearly under a lot of pressure right now, and this is actually the closest Cena has ever been in this middle sector, where you'd expect Wheelnut to pull away because of the dirty air. But Cena is all over the back of him.
I know we've got a battle for the lead, but it's all kicking off here as well for 7th place, where there's a bit of a train forming here. And Mick Schumacher is running low on energy. Miss John runs a bit wide, and Shep might be able to take 2 positions. Oh, he certainly got 1, and he'll be on Mr. John in no time as well, you would imagine. But Mr. John will want to get past his teammate. But we're probably going to have to watch the battle at the front now. And we'll see how that shakes out a bit further down the field later on, because there we go. Wheelnut is immediately defending. DRS is enabled for Cena. He's using DRS as well. But again, I don't think he's close enough, is he?
I think he's got a very high downforce setup on that car. Sayer Sports is
Oh,
now
he's got a
up into
penalty, Cena.
P7. Oh, Cena,
Cena's got a penalty, but he sent it for the lead. He sent it into turn 3, and he makes the lead. He gets the lead, so now he has to pull 3 seconds. He probably noticed he had the penalty and thought, okay, I've got to get this done. Now, can he gain 3 seconds?
That is the question, and I think, well, I don't know. It did look like he was a little bit quicker, but he was struggling in terms of his straight line speed. But now that he's actually got the clean air that he needs, he's already 8 tenths clear of Wheelnut. But of course, Wheelnut will know he only really has to stay within 3 seconds. So there's not a whole lot of pressure for Wheelnut, I guess. I guess the pressure now is on Cena to just build that gap, because of course John Menzies is still within 3 seconds of him. So yeah, I think the pressure's on Cena now, because not just because he's in the lead, but because he has quite a gap to build. But Sayer Sports now up into P7, but of course he does have penalties.
I just had the quick check, and Wheelnut has had 2 warnings, so he's only 1 warning away, and Menzies only has 1 warning. So another mistake here for Cena, and if for Wheelnut, and he might get it. But look at this again. Wheelnut wants to come back at Cena, and Cena is having to defend here. DRS enabled, needs to get back on the left-hand side of the track. Wheelnut's got to take tighter line into turn 1, and Cena stays ahead because of that. But he doesn't have much energy left here, Wheelnut, although really neither does Cena, to be fair. But Wheelnut might be able to have another go here. Oh, he nearly lost it on the curb there.
Yeah, and I think, well, Wheelnut's really run out of deployment now. Not that Cena has a whole lot, but he's only really got DRS at his disposal. So he'd be better off just staying back for just a few laps. Let that build up. Though it's not the easiest track to build up your deployment, because there's quite a lot of power usage around here. But further back, it's still all pretty close. Blair Grill's now pressuring Jacko for P4. So he's having a pretty solid race, as is Chris Johnson running in the top 6. Dom is now up into P10. He is on the softs. He was last at one point. I think he was running in P17, I believe it was at the time. But still, he's only able to make his way up to 10th. I thought it would be a little bit higher than that by now, I'll be honest. But Cena then still maintains the lead. But crucially for Wheelnut, he's still within 3 seconds and also within DRS. So this is really helping him. And I think he has less downforce than the AlphaTauri ahead, because Cena, it looked like he really struggled to pull in any kind of gap even with DRS.
Yeah, without doubt, I think Cena is definitely...
Oh,
Wheelnut
there
gets
we
the penalty!
go.
So this is suddenly a real battle again for the lead, and it's just because he ran a little bit wide into turn 1. Track limits there, and quite rightly as it should be, and he gets the penalty for it. And now this is a real battle for the lead, but actually the guy in the net lead right now is actually John Menzies.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, John Menzies is the lead, is the net leader of this race. Of course, he is on softs, so he has to make them last. But at the same time, like, he's 1.8 seconds off the lead, or 1.8, 2.8 seconds off the lead. No, 1.8. Sorry, I can't do maths.
Yeah, Blair Grills just made the move there on Jacko for 4th place, but Blair Grills has penalties, has a 3-second penalty. Jacko doesn't have one yet. But anyway, we need to watch this battle at the front here, because this could be turned into a 3-lap battle for the win here. And as you say, if John can hold on to his tyres, maybe he will be the guy who gets the win instead. See how they get round this corner. It looks like Cena got quite a good exit there. I don't think Wheelnut did, but of course,
John
as we know, Wheelnut should have the speed, and certainly, here we go, engages the DRS, and he's going to close in. We've got to get a flag out. Wheelnut want a safety car now. Cena defending left and right, and the corner arrived first.
Yeah, and I thought, John Menzies at one point was actually within a second of Wheelnut, so if he can get a bit of DRS, then he's looking in a very good position. But Cena then, it's almost better sometimes to just stay on the racing line into turn 1 at this track, because you can't really lunge it up the inside of anybody, because it's just not going to work. So sometimes the racing line is just the better option, even if it is the outside, and that is the case for turn 1 at this circuit. But yeah, John Menzies, they're not pulling away from him.
Yeah, they're really not, are they? I was about to say, this is obviously the difference here between 7 points, and it will be 6 points that it will close into 3-point gap in the championship. if Cena was to win this, because fastest lap is currently with Wheelnut. But of course, if Menzies wins it, it'll only turn into a 3-point swing in the championship, because Menzies is still right there.
Yeah, I mean, actually, he just dipped below that 1 second again. Can he get a better exit out of this corner? And you know, I think he may just about stay within. Oh, I don't know. He might have DRS on this lap. Let's see. I don't think he will. He was just outside 1 second at the detection
So here
point.
comes Wheelnut once again then. I think he's a bit further back this time round. I tell you what, Cena's coming up to a lap car here, and he might catch him at a pretty nice time in terms of snatching a bit of DRS.
I think he will.
Oh, actually, he pulled out the way at the last second. I don't think he will get it.
No, he didn't.
Yeah.
Wheelnut did. Wheelnut doesn't have any battery, of course, but then again, Cena's looking pretty low.
He said one.
I don't think that was intentional from Wheelnut. I think that was him missing his braking point and trying to rescue it a little bit, but thankfully no contact made. John Menzies pulling, well, they're pulling a little bit away from John Menzies, but then as I say that, no, they're not really, are they? For a moment there, it looked like John Menzies maybe didn't have a great corner, but he's pulled it back in again and is still comfortably within 3 seconds with just over a lap of this race to go. John Menzies then, he won't really care about the constructors battle because he's driving a different car every week. He is a reserve.
Yeah.
So it's not like he wants to win the race to help Daniel's championship here, because he probably doesn't know who Daniel is. He's just showing up every week in a different team. With a yellow flag in sector 2, it's someone at the back, so we're fine with that. But Wheelnut then, he's got one final chance of overtaking Cena, because they both have the same amount of penalties, so whoever finishes ahead will get more points as Chris Johnson moves his way up into P4. Again, he's just kind of stealthy drive from Chris Johnson, just randomly popping up in P4. But
there you go.
Yeah, here we go.
I think
once
it's
again.
Now or never for Wheelnut. With the lack of battery has really hurt him as he tries to get past scenery in the closing stages of this race. And I think he might be quite frustrated about that, because he's had several opportunities to do so. It's quite clear that he has certainly been running lower downforce. But in the end, it looks like Cena's probably going to hold on, unless Wheelnut can get some sort of amazing slingshot exit towards the end of the lap.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the thing. He's going to really have to do something peculiar here. He's going to rely on a mistake from Cena as well, it has to be said. But at the moment, Cena's looking pretty good, and it's looking pretty good for his championship as well. Of course, he was only 9 points behind. He's going to gain, I believe it's going to be 2 points in this race when they shuffle down with the penalties. But across the line then, Cena is first with Daniel second, but it's John Menzies who wins in Portugal. He avoided all the penalties, kept himself clean, and won the race. Which, sometimes that's how it goes, with Chris Johnson falling to fifth.
Well, he fell to fifth, but he also set the fastest lap across the line as well, which obviously takes a point away from Wheelnut at the line. So a fantastic end to the race for Chris Johnson there. Jacko made it back up to fourth despite losing 2 positions because of the penalties. Sport 7th, Mr. John 8th, Neljack 9th, Dom down in 10th. That is not good for his championship in any way at all. But what a fantastic win for Menzies. All he had to do was just keep the gap with the 2 guys ahead, and fair play to him. That's exactly what he managed to do.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes that's just that's how you get a good result. I mean, it's happened to me a few times. I've done nothing all race and popped up at the very end, but sadly not to win. But maybe one day. Last finisher across the line will be Red Bull Kim. Mick Schumacher was lapped and has crossed the finish line, so he's already classified. And we have our race results. Well, I mean, Baza has a few penalties. Oh no, he doesn't, because he crashed. But anyway, Sarah Sports, your driver of the day, starting at the back, and well, he got himself a pretty high result in the end. So good for him. It was a solid drive from the Aston Martin driver, but it was also a very solid drive from this man here, John Menzies. Could have easily let the soft tyres degrade towards the end, but he just about kept them alive and kept within 3 seconds.
He did indeed, yes. So that is going to bring it to, a 6 point gap. Obviously, because Wheelnut did not get the fastest lap, so it's going to be 219 points for Wheelnut, 213 points for Cena as we head into Monaco. Fantastic stuff.
Yeah, so Chris Johnson then with the fastest lap of the race kind of makes you wonder, if he could just qualify a little bit better, how would he do? But then again, actually, when he has had moments where he has had good qualifyings, it's actually kind of gone a bit topsy-turvy for him. So, yeah, he's qualifying definitely a weak point for him. But, I think Dom was probably the
Dom's the big
unexpected
loser in that one.
result.
Maybe
He had damage.
Well, certainly lap one,
Slight
obviously,
damage.
he picked up the damage at the start, which I had to pip. But it's the top four in the championship is Wheelnut 219, Cena 213, Jacko 175, and Dom on 169 points at the moment. Then, but fantastic win there for John Menzies. And well, when was the last time John won a TGP race?
You'll have to consult the archives for that.
Yeah, it's going to be some time. I don't know if you've got Louise Gunman watching, maybe.
Hit us up, Louise.
But because it has been some time since that happened, of course. But we believe it was Stereogram's internet that was messing up slightly, which caused that problem, according to comments from in the chat, which is a shame about that. It's also a shame because I don't think he's going to rejoin the time in Monaco, which means we won't get to see what the weather forecast is going to be on a stream. But hopefully we'll have that information sent to us in a different way.
Well, time to catch our breath and wait for people to rejoin or people to ready up or whatever's happening. Wheelnut's connection on my screen is looking a bit iffy.
That's a bit of a worry, isn't it, for his championship?
Yeah, and also for everyone else's front wings around this circuit.
Yeah. True. So we head to Monaco then. The jewel in the crown of the F1 calendar. One of the greatest racetracks in the world, and I know we differ on our opinions over Monaco, don't we, slightly?
Yes. Yes, we do. There's no real place for it anymore, is there?
Well, I mean, there is. I mean, let's face it, I know obviously we've had we had Miami a couple of weeks ago, of course, in the real F1 world. Basically, the sort of like a plastic kind of Monaco, wasn't it? It's like, I was thinking about this, and I was thinking like Miami is basically the when it comes to like tracks like Monaco and stuff like that, like Miami is basically the Man City of F1. You probably won't understand that reference.
What, like they're better than everyone else?
No, it's just that people who know football will understand what I mean. Miami is like the Man City, and then like Monaco is like the Liverpools and the Manchester Uniteds and the Arsenals of this world, and they
well, like the ones who don't win. The ones who used to be good but are now like not as good.
Well, I suppose in one case you could say that, I suppose, but in a couple of cases maybe, but certainly not in one of those cases. But yeah, of course we all know what Saudi Arabia is, of course, but that's another matter.
Fantastic venue.
This is the Liverpool and Manchester United of Formula One tracks. No, I hadn't to yet. Iconic.
See, this is the thing now. That was just rude. You've used like terminology that I can't respond to because it's all just absolute gibberish to me.
Well,
this is like I don't know I'll have something for you in a minute.
Well, it's a dry race. Sorry, it's a dry qualifying. We don't know if it's going to be a dry race or not. We have 17 drivers who are going to get ready then to take on the Monaco Challenge. Of course, as we look ahead to the Monaco Grand Prix this weekend in real life. Absolutely cannot wait for that. But first of all, let's see who gets the job done in the TGP2 world, with the gap between the two at the front being now just 6 points. And we should have our first few drivers exiting the pit lane now. Yes, indeed we do.
John, this track is kind of like the LMFAO of the Formula One world. You know, they had their moment, but now it's just a bit stale and boring and old. You know?
Okay, I wouldn't say it's stale, but...
Well,
okay.
I mean... do you know what, right? Actually, right, if they just stuck, like, a Baku length straight somewhere along here, just, you know, go off into the ocean for a bit, then it would be fantastic. Because you'd have all the challenge, you know, you keep, you know, your hairpin and your mirror bow and everything, but you'd actually have some overtaking.
Well, maybe that's what might happen in the future. Obviously, with the reclaiming the land at Portier round there, that could be something for the future.
I really hope so, because yeah, I mean this just ain't it anymore. Cars don't really like. We don't really have massive races of attrition these days.
Well, I think we will this weekend, especially with these new cars. Visibility, bigger tyres, bigger cars struggling a lot more in the slower corners. It's going to be fascinating to see how they get on, and of course a chance of rain on the Sunday as well. Could be quite an attritional race on Sunday afternoon. Let's see if this is going to be an attritional TGP2 race. At the moment, then we're just having some of the early laps in this qualifying session, and Shep's hit the wall there into Casino. And I don't think he's got damage. Well, he certainly hasn't got any visible damage, and he continues on his way on those medium tyres. We've also got Mick Schumacher and Bazef on medium tyres as well, with the rest of the field on softs.
Yeah, Bazef does like a medium run, doesn't he? Oh, as Mike Noon hits the wall, he might as well continue the lap. Oh, well, actually, no, never mind, it's invalid. Let's see if Jack was a bit more successful. He's got a Haas in front of him, though. You'd imagine he'll move out the way if at all possible. Indeed, he does. That's the thing with Monaco as well. It's very difficult to move out of people's way. Just the Haas behind is there, really struggling. I think the whole wing is gone now as Dom sets our first lap of the session. So 1:11.8. Indecisive Mackie is out of the session. He will take no further part, as we see another Haas. The Haases are not loving qualifying around here right now.
Angel versus Death out as well.
And, well...
Red Bull Kim's been given a pet. Oh, it's that it. Look at Red Bull Kim's car. Is that the anti-Nogue, the final corner? He must have collided.
So, yeah, because
no front wing.
I did see that Red Bull Kim was in the wall, and I think Angel versus Death was hoping he'd ghost, and, well, evidently didn't. So Red Bull Kim will have a 5-place penalty. So we've already lost 2 drivers, and another one has been penalised, and we are 4 minutes into the session. So, well,
it's not like Australia though, of course, and we lost all those drivers crashing out in the qualifying. Maybe it might not reach that level, but Dom is going to complete another lap here, and he's improving, and he's going to lower the benchmark even further. It's going to be an 11.5 maybe. It's better than that. It's an 11.3. 1-3 for Dom then, so he's over a second quicker than the rest of the field. But look at Jacko, he's nearly a second quicker in the second sector. Oh, he's a bit wide there into Antino, because that would have lost him some time, but he'll open the DRS and he'll cross the line. He won't go ahead of Dom. In fact, he only really, in the end, he lost 7/10 in the final sector there, Jacko.
As Baz is about to start another lap on the mediums again, I'm not really sure. I mean, it's Monaco. Well, I mean, he pops up into fourth without using any deployment on the slower tyre, which I think says a lot about the drivers in the initial stages are struggling to find any kind of decent lap time out there. John Menzies on an out lap. We've got Cena on a lap once again.
Yeah, Cena invalidated last time around, and Wheelnut is still on an out lap then. So what was Cena's first sector there? I think it was an 18.6, was it, or something like that? Yeah, it was an 18.6. And Dom's fastest sector was also an 18.6 in the first sector. Oh my word! Coming around towards the there was a car right in the way, and the Haas of Shep. But Cena's going to need Mr. John to move here. Oh, Mr. John! He goes straight on at the chicane. So I think it's probably just about got away with that. Might cost him a little bit of time. But anyway, Cena now can unleash the car through the swimming pool section. And a hop, skip and a jump over here. Don't hit the wall. It's looking good. Baz is just ahead of him, but I don't really think he's holding him up.
No.
Through the final corner then, engage the DRS, and let's see what his first proper lap will be. He goes into second place, 4/10 behind Dom.
This is one of those tracks where, like, if you can just get any kind of lap that's, somewhat neat and tidy, you'll find yourself in a very decent position. It's up there with the likes of Australia, Canada. There's definitely one other prominent example that I can quite think of right now, but it's just one of those where if you can just hook up three, relatively decent sectors, you'll probably find yourself in a good position, because there are drivers who will push the limit too early and too much. I think it was a Mercedes there. I'm pretty sure it just disappeared.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've just been spectating that. That was Daniel P. Wheelnut and his car.
Oh.
He was following the Ferrari of Bazza, and his car suddenly just appeared, spawning, coming out the pit lane. So could that be more connection trouble, do you think, maybe for Wheelnut? This could be a worry for him, couldn't it, in this race?
Yeah, because given that he went from the hairpin to the pits, that's a concern. Oh dear.
It's a huge concern. It's an absolutely massive concern.
Manx Telecom, not really.
I mean, I don't know obviously what he is seeing, because he was on an out lap, so I don't know whether he was in the pit lane or what actually he was seeing.
Has it glitched for him where everyone's an AI and he can just press pause and return to garage? Like, is this an offline session for him?
I'm not sure, but I'm just looking at his lap times, and it shows that he registered like a first sector of an 18.9, but then just nothing else coming up after that. So he was on track, it seems. So, well, Wheelnut, if he was to have connection problems here and Cena was to go and win the race, it would be a huge dent in his championship challenge of 4 races to go after tonight. He'll be praying that connection stays.
Yeah. Oh.
Where is he going? And now he's left. Oh. He's left the session. He's left the session. Now, is he going to try and rejoin? Hopefully he can rejoin. Fingers crossed. But anyway, drivers who are actually existing and setting lap times right now. Actually, there's not too many, because quite a few are invalidated and quite a few are on out laps. John Menzies, who's gone purple first sector, who's now turned up in an Alfa Romeo. He was in a Mercedes last time, and now he's in an Alfa.
And let's... Oh, yeah. Let's just gloss over that, I guess. Maybe his points will just count towards Alfa Romeo. Who's the driver he's replacing in Alfa Romeo? Because I know...
So we got no stereogram, and there was nobody else in the Alfa.
So why didn't he just pick the Alfa last time?
It's a good question.
Anyway, he's here again. I don't think it really matters. I think he's just free to pick whatever. Do you know what? Just set the lap. You'll find yourself in the top 10 probably. So you're better off finishing it. You're going to start ahead of Angel vs. Death and English Mackie, and let's be honest, Mr. John. So let's see what he does then. It's P7.
P7 with a massive wobble on the lap as well, so we will surely know that he can improve on that. Here's Dom coming around the end of the lap here. I think he was purple there in the second sector. Is he going to get the benchmark lowered even further? Can he maybe get into the 110s? Let's see. He crosses the line. He will get into the 110s. Yeah, it's a 110.9. So Dom, well, he had a poor race in Portugal. Can he recover his championship hopes a little bit here with a win in Monaco? Especially if Wheelnut doesn't show up, of course, as Shep goes into an excellent third position. Yeah, it's a good third position for M-Shep, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, like, excellent lap for him, and you know, hopefully the race goes a bit smoother for him than it did in Portugal. And you know what, kind of surprised by that, because at the start, Shep was all over the place in this session as Red Bull Kim sets a valid lap to take him up to P13. Who else have we got on a lap at the
Well,
moment?
let's
Not
watch.
John Menzies. Meljack's around the final corner.
Okay,
And Mike Noon. Oh, no, sorry. I keep thinking he's in a Red Bull. He's not.
we've got Cena on a lap here as well.
Meljack was not on a lap.
What's Mike? Oh, okay, Cena. Let's see what he can do. I think he was slightly down in the first sector, but I wondered if he's looking at that lap by Dom and thinking, wow, that I actually can't beat that. But let's see. We know he's good in qualifying. Cena, his consistency this season has improved so much, which of course is why he's fighting for the championship. And just as I say that, it's the commentator's curse right there, because he goes and throws it in the wall at the swimming pool chicane. And that was an inconsistent moment for Cena, and he is out of the session.
I'm just gonna let that speak for itself.
Well, look at Mike Noon. He's right. He's on a quick lap, but he's getting held up by Red Bull Kim at the end of the lap. He couldn't get out the way there, Red Bull Kim, but I've lost him time because he was on for a good lap. And he's gone third. He could have gone ahead of Cena there
easily. Yeah. I mean, if Red Bull Kim was on a lap, I guess he's entitled to be there. But I mean, let's be honest, Red Bull Kim, like, you know, you're 5 seconds off. Like, it's. But then again, I don't know how close he started the lap to him. I don't know, but if he was on a lap, I guess he is entitled to be there. But yeah, that's the problem with a circuit like this. It's very difficult to get out of the way. But we have Blair Grills on a lap, Jack not on a lap. It's Chris Johnson on a lap. He is indeed. I just noticed now it's night time.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a nighttime race, isn't it? But Jacko as well, I think he's starting a lap. Mike Nguyen, I don't know if he's going again here. He is 5/10 down in the first sector, so I'm assuming not. Just by the way, we'll not rejoin the lobby, and it says he's on an out lap right now, but it also says he's in the pit lane. But can you actually see him on my screen? He's on an out lap.
Let's have a look.
Chris Johnson goes second.
Oh yeah, it says he's in the pits, but there he is.
Yeah, so and he's gone again. Oh, this is not good for Wheelnut. This then, of course, we've also got Cena clash now. Could this be a disastrous race for the top two in the championship, maybe? And Dom might do quite well here, and Jacko might do quite well here. Jacko is about to finish a lap now. Chris Johnson's just gone into an excellent second place. But can Jacko displace him? We've got purple little sector, and Wheelnut's been disqualified from a session now. Despite the fact he's not even here, so if he does rejoin, he will be starting at the very back, which is not what you want around Monaco. Jacko, final corner. DRS enabled. Can he get on the front row? Can he beat Don's lap time? He goes second, and he does get on the front row. So, yeah, Cena down to fifth now. So we've got, Mike Noon's in the wall. Portier there, and he's got damage. I'm not sure how long left in the session, but he might not be able to get another lap in now if we haven't got too long left. But right now, as it stands, we've got the championship leader starting at the back and possibly not even taking part. Second in the championship starting in fifth, and the top two in the championship are going to be, the third and fourth in the championship are going to be 1-2 on the grid. And you would imagine Mike Noon could go quicker than Cena's lap time. I think Shep can probably go quicker than Cena's lap time as well.
I'd imagine so, yeah. I mean, there's definitely a lot of time for most of these drivers. You know what? They really need to fix this for the next game where, like, if there's a yellow flag, we can't see how long's left in the session. It just flashed up that there was 4 minutes left, but I mean, like, this is ridiculous. How long's left in the session? Well, I don't know. But there are yellow flags that are just popping up around the track. I think that might be Wheelnut's disqualified car that's just... Oh, he's back.
Jacko is about to improve here, but he went very wide into Rascar, so he will have lost some time. Ooh. Oh, look at that. He lost time as well in the final sector, 100%, because he was so wide coming at the exit of Rascas. Jacko can get pole here.
Oh, M-Chef's gone quite deep into the final two corners of the circuit. He may still improve here. In fact, no, he doesn't. Dom's on another lap, so could be more improvement from the Alpine driver. John Menzies has invalidated his lap. Nearly everyone's in the pits, so let's have a look then. What is Dom doing around the track this time around? Through the first sector, okay, he's nearly half a tenth up on his previous time. So can the Alpine driver find yet more time? I mean, he's already, you'd imagine, set for a front row, even if
Yeah,
he
I think
doesn't improve. So he may as
the
well just go for it.
battle for pole's probably between these two. I feel like Mike Noon might be able to get a quick lap in as well if he can actually get a full lap together. But Dom is going to finish this lap now. I think Jacko is probably going to pit, isn't he, and try and get back out in time. Yeah, he is pitting now. Oh, he's going to have to be a quick turnaround. Dom hits the wall at the back, but he's a tenth and a half up nearly. Is he going to drop any more time through the exit swim pool there? Look quite tidy. So how low can Dom get this? And does he have enough fuel in the car to set another lap? It looks like he does, and his fuel light isn't flashing. Here comes Dom then, opens the DRS. Does he improve? He does. He gets it to a 110.8. And Jacko, they're going to have to be super quick at Ferrari now.
Don't know if Dom's going to improve on this lap because he did just touch the wall on the exit of turn 1, which I don't think would have given him any damage. Probably will slow up his momentum through this first sector and will cost him time all the way up the hill. And indeed, he backs off. Now, is he backing off to go again for another lap? Because I think he has time, because now those yellow flags have disappeared. Oh, well, they briefly disappeared. And we know he has enough time to get around. So Dom then, and I think he'll have the fuel as well, because you get like 5 laps of fuel, because it's the minimum you can do is 5 fuels.
Oh yeah,
So
well, Jacko,
he'll be fine.
Jacko is coming out the pit lane now, and I'd love to tell you how long's left in the session, but once again the yellow flag graphic's in the way. But
you'll have to. Oh,
did he get damaged there?
I don't know. Maybe, but let's see. I think
It's not visible if he did. So he might have just got away with that, but he's going to have to storm it around the track here to get ready for his lap. He's going to have to hope. He's going to have to hope as well. He doesn't really get in the way of anybody else's laps. There's actually really nobody behind him. But of course, he doesn't want to start the lap too close to a driver ahead, does he?
No, he does not. Blair Grills is out the session. I just went on board with him as he was. I mean, his car was already retired at that point. He already only had 3 wheels. But Mike Noon then braking a little bit late into the new chicane, but keeps it valid. So let's see what the Williams driver can do in the final sector. Just about clips the wall through to back. He's a bit down on his time. And it looks like it was the middle sector that was quicker for him. But let's see what he can do through Raskas. Maybe a tiny bit deep and a bit squirrely on the exit then. Can he get it turned in nicely for the final corner? The worst corner on the calendar. But across the line then for Mike Noon, and it's P3, despite it looking a bit ragged. There was some pace in that Williams car. Dom is retired from the session, so he will not be improving.
Yeah.
Chris Johnson's on a lap, and Jacko has just started a lap, so maybe Chris Johnson is the driver of interest right now.
It's Chris Johnson, Jacko, and Bazet, Mick Schumacher, and seemingly Mike Noon as well, who seems to still be pushing. So all these guys have still got to come to finish the laps. It's game over for the rest of them. But who's going to be the first to cross the line? I think it's going to be Chris Johnson, isn't it? It is going to be Chris Johnson.
How are they all? They're all so bunched up and early in the lap. Like, where's
Yeah, it's bizarre, isn't it? It is quite strange. They're all very early on the lap, and Mick Schumacher's actually just crashed, so Mick Schumacher is going to improve. Bazet seems like he has to left the throttle. Mick Schumacher's out then.
Chris Johnson's a bit laggy. I hope it's...
he's very laggy, Chris Johnson.
Okay, it's not me, so, oh dear.
Yeah.
That's not what Cena will be hoping for. But what can he
Mike
do
Noon's
then?
invalidated.
Chris Johnson across the line. It is an improvement, to be fair to him, and he puts a good gap between himself and Blair Grills. But can Jacko improve then around the final corner? Obviously, Mike Noon was out anyway, so that's all good. But Jacko then across the line. Can he take pole position? Yes, he can. 9 thousandths of a second. What can Baza do? Baza can enter the pit lane a bit wonkily. But yeah, anyway, Jacko takes pole position at Monaco, crushingly for Dom at the final moments of the session. It's Jacko who takes pole position. Of course, Jacko is a title contender himself. Was a little bit, well, I say he was a little bit better in Portugal. I think he finished 4th in the end. But
well, it looked like Dom had it done, didn't he? All through the session, it looked like Dom was going to be the quickest, but Jacko managed to get the lap in, and he starts on pole. Cena is 6th, and Wheelnut, well, we don't even know if he's going to be able to take part in the race or not.
That's true, actually. Yeah, I wonder if he's managed to find any kind of fix or interim fix that will hopefully see him to the end of the race. But your grid then, while we're focused at the front, let's go through the whole thing. We've got Jacko and Dom, as we mentioned, on the front row. Mike Noon, an excellent third. Chris Johnson, brilliant for him, up in P4. Blair Grills is fifth. Cena, a disappointing sixth after an early retirement. M. Shep, Neljack, John Menzies, and Bazza round out your top 10. Mick Schumacher, Red Bull came with a 5-place penalty, will start 17th. We then have Angel versus Death, Sayer Sports, Mr. John not setting a time as usual, Indecisive Mackie, and crucially, Wheelnut will start at the back of the grid. So, well, I mean, obviously he's the driver to watch in this race. If he's here, if he can stay connected, and I, really hope he does.
Yeah.
Looking a bit bright for a nighttime race. Maybe it's not quite, not quite night. But
I think
we'll see what happens.
The night will set in, I think, going as the race goes on. But I don't. I hope Wheelnut does not disconnect. He hasn't disconnected since he rejoined, and it was what, five minutes ago, over 5 minutes ago, wasn't it? He came back in after the second time he left. So hopefully he will be able to take part in this race.
Yeah, I mean, 5 consecutive minutes. Oh, look, there's that no smoking sign that we noticed last
race.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get ready to go here at Monaco. We've got Jacko on the inside with Dom Smith alongside him on the front row. Let's see how we get underway in Monaco as the lights go out, and it looks like it's a pretty good start from Dom on the outside, and indeed he's straight up into the lead. Excellent start from the Alpine driver, and Mike Noon goes around the outside of Jacko. So terrible start for Jacko there. Cena's up to 5th, so he's managed to gain a place. Wheelnut is indeed in the race. He's already ahead of Red Bull Kim and is already putting pressure on Mr. John behind, but Dom Smith then absolutely perfect start, exactly what he needed. So already up into the lead. Cena in 5th, crucially for him. Jacko's still holding on to a podium position, but he's going to have to clear Mike Noon if he's going to get some serious points. Sayer Sport is already up to 11th, and looks like a pretty bad start for Bazza then. He's already at the back of the field. As we see Wheelnut, he's only managed to gain the 1 position, but still every position will count around here as they crawl around the hairpin, as they tend to do on lap 1. But Dom then already with a 7/10 advantage, and we know how kind of ragged Mike Noon can be every now and again at a circuit he's not entirely comfortable with, and I think that this is one of those circuits. Although saying that, he has closed up on Dom a little bit through those corners, but he does have a win it or bin it mentality, it has to be said.
I mean, Dom was the one who nearly binned it there through the swimming pool chicane there, but he's just about got away with it. Mike Noon closed in quite a bit. Mick Schumacher's out the race at the back. So Mick Schumacher's out the race to back. Will it be a safety car or anything? Dom sets the fast lap, obviously, because he's leading. John Menzies pits, interestingly. I don't know if that's for a change of front wing or not, or if it's strategical. But he pits. Wheelnut is going to be in 14th at the end of the first lap, and he's left the session.
Oh, no. Yeah, he may have been lagging a little bit before that, because there was a big gap between himself and the car in front, who I believe would have been Bazza, because John's the only one who pits. So Wheelnut then out of the session yet again. You are allowed to collect points, I believe, if you do drive at some point in the race, and you can show that it was like a genuine disconnection, and he's it's not like he didn't just show up. So we'll see. He may be able to rescue a few points there if it is a race of attrition, but out in the front, it's incredibly close between Dom and Mike Noon. But this circuit,
I don't know if Mike Noon just touched the wall there, to be honest, at the exit of the Nouvelle chicane, but he's dropped back a little bit, touches the wall again, and the swimming pool, that was only a little kiss of the wall, so perhaps not, and he continues.
And Jacko looks a little bit closer as Wheelnut. It's weird though, I don't recall Wheelnut having a bad connection before. As Blair Grills and M-Chef both pit, I wonder if that was
Blair Grills has changed his front wing.
Contact. Is M-Chef doing the same? Of course, Haas at the end of the pit lane, and yes, they are. So maybe contact, maybe separate incidents. It is Monaco after all. But Dom then, he's over a second clear. I was going to say crucially because of the DRS, but the DRS doesn't really do anything around here. But Cena then is up into P4.
No, Cena's P5, but Chris Johnson's connection has just sent his Harman screen thing right down to the bottom here. So Chris Johnson is really suffering with lag, but seemingly isn't disconnecting like Wheelnut is. But Chris Johnson is very much suffering with lag right now. I think it might be hampering Cena slightly in terms of how close he can get to the Aston Martin driver.
But he's not. It's weird though. Wheelnut leaves again, but Chris Johnson's kind of just in his own little zone at the moment. He's just he seems quicker than Cena, but he seems slower than the top three. So he's kind of just comfortably P4 at the moment, unless Cena has some kind of damage behind him that he's trying to nurse as he goes around the track. But Jack an excellent P5 at the moment, so I think he'll be pretty happy with how the race has gone so far as we reach lap number 4 of 20. But Mike Noon still pressuring Dom then. He's not letting him go. Angel versus Death having a moment further behind at the exit of the final corner.
And Baz has said the one on Mr. Johnny into turn 1. First corner, Sander Vart, and makes a very nice move into 8th position there.
Oh, an overtake at Monaco will colour me surprised. So Bazza then up into the top 8 with Mike Noon still putting the pressure on Dom, but he's never put any kind of pressure in terms of making an overtake. So I think they can just kind of keep
and there's
going
a penalty.
as it is. And Mike, you can tell he's pushing a lot more than Dom. It seems Dom seems a bit more in control of his car, but Mike Noon with that penalty. It's great news for Dom, as Chris Johnson has just about returned to P4 on our screens. Hopefully when he crosses the lap we'll get some kind of interval. But it's pretty dodgy from the Aston Martin. Although actually right now it looks fine. So hopefully it remains that way for the rest of the race. We've got the interval. He seemed fine in Portugal. So
yeah.
I'd imagine Wheelnut has made his pit stop already, or his AI has made his pit stop. He's on mediums.
I think he has, yeah. They're actually about to come up being out to lap Wheelnut, but I do feel like Mike Noon is he slightly hit the back of Dom there around the hairpin. But I do feel like Mike Noon can be like super quick around here, but also very, very easy for him to go straight into the barrier, isn't it? And Jacko is actually gaining a little bit now on these top 2. Dom, I assume, is going to pass Wheelnut. Wheelnut is probably driving right now, in control of his car.
Yeah, I think so.
But it's at that moment that he's actually had to move out the way to let everybody else through, as Mike Noon still stays with Dom. And, well, Mike Noon's got the penalty, but, of course, all it takes is one small error from Dom. Oh, Mike Noon nearly dropping it. And Jacko getting ever closer now. Can Jacko get ahead? If Jacko can get ahead here, we would have a battle for the win between 3rd and 4th in the championship. Another slide for Mike Noon. Can Jacko have a run? He enables the DRS, but Mike Noon also has the DRS. Will Jacko just send one? No, he will not. Thinks much better of doing that. But it's got to be quite frustrating this for Jacko, I think.
Oh, as a random Haas appears in front of the leaders. I was on board with Jacko there, was not expecting that, but just a ghost, so it's fine as Red Bull Kim becomes the next car to be lapped. I think you can tell that Wheelnut is in control of the car once again, and to be honest, if he can just sort of stay connected before we leave here, I think he may end up salvaging a point. No, they're a lot less attrition than what we saw in qualifying. I think drivers are they're a bit more well behaved when it comes to the race, because they know that they can afford to be a bit more patient than compared to qualifying. But Jacko then falling behind a little bit.
And Angel versus Death, who I believe quite often has a crash in Monaco early on, also has not had the crash yet. He's still very much in his race. He had that spin earlier.
He had a crash.
But he hasn't. DNF. Mike Noon, he's sliding. And he's ghosting. Can Jacko make advantage of this? No. Mike Noon becomes visible again just as Jacko was closing in there. If he was a bit late on the brakes there, Jacko, he could have risked that and maybe made the move on Mike Noon through the fact that Mike Noon turned into a ghost. Seeing a pits then from 5th place now. Will he have some clean air ahead of him here to push a little bit and perhaps maybe get the jump on Chris Johnson once he comes in? We'll have to monitor that. Red Bull Kim still down, Wheelnut, still down in 15th position as Jacko, Mike Noon very late on the brakes there into middle mode, but the top 3 still all very close together. This could be sorted out on pit stops perhaps. I wonder if Jacko, will he possibly fancy pitting early to try and get ahead of Mike Noon?
Cena, just comes out right behind Mackie. It's only the one car, but I don't think this is... Well, I mean, it's probably not going to hurt him. I don't think he's going to lose position from this, but he will lose time.
Yeah, but look at the time he's losing there. Oh, he's losing so much time. If he was to make that
Uh,
move now,
yeah, he
he'd be
needs
able to
to.
possibly be able to gain on Chris Johnson, but he's crawling round here. Indecisive is not making this easy for him. And Cena will be getting so frustrated in the car. As you say, I don't think he's going to lose any positions, but he would have had a chance to close in on Chris Johnson, and I think that's pretty much gone now, that chance.
Yeah, no, it's not happening now. But Chris Johnson, I seem to recall in a previous season, he was in the lead and was in a net lead of the race, but didn't pit. He was waiting for a potential safety car because he didn't have the full picture. So who knows? He could do the same thing now, and Cena will have
Oh,
plenty of time. Now, surely he'll go
Mike
up the
Noon in the wall.
inside. Oh, Mike Noon.
Jacko makes the position. Jacko makes the position. Mike Noon hit the wall, and Jacko gets into second place. 2.6 seconds though now behind Dom. How quickly can Jacko close in?
Cena's closed in pretty quickly on indecisive Mackie. I'm not quite sure why Mackie was trying to hang it around the outside there. It's pretty obvious that Cena had the move done. So Baza then has also managed to get past indecisive through that little bit of conflict between the two. So Cena, he pitted from fourth, or no, he didn't. He pitted from fifth, and he's now sixth. So the field spread is a bit large. I think he's not safe in terms of safety car, virtual safety car from Sarah Sports. I think Sarah Sports, because it is quite a short pit lane, may be able to get ahead of him if there were to be a safety car or VSC. As Mike Noon comes into the pits, maybe with damage. But it's now Jacko v Dom.
Yeah, so Mike Noon pits, but Cena will know surely that the problems that Wheelnut's having are effectively all. And Mike Noon is changing the front wing as well. So Mike Noon changing the front wing, and so is Chris Johnson as well. Is also changing the front wing. So say Sports jumps up into third place. Yeah, Cena coming round Raskas now, and Mike Noon coming out the pit lane, and you get the feeling that if Cena was not getting held up, he might have made the move. But Chris Johnson is still stuck in the pit lane on my screen. I think he's glitching as well with lag. He's dropping down the order.
I've
no idea where Chris Johnson is on the game right now. But let's just say the Cena's got ahead.
Yes. Yeah, no, hopefully Chris Johnson will have his pit issues sorted by next Tuesday, which I believe is when they finally got Bottas's tyre off the car.
Yeah, I think they're trying to break that record, aren't they? Because so we're having quite a few lag issues, which is quite frustrating. But Chris Johnson is apparently now on the track and suddenly finds himself near the tunnel
at Portier.
Where's Cena on the track? Well, Cena's ahead anyway.
Okay,
so
that's good.
Yeah, Cena is ahead on the circuit then, as Jacko is closing in slowly on Dom. Neither of them have pitted yet. I wonder when Jacko's going to fancy coming in. Obviously, he might be able to pit, get out in clean air and gain a bit of time.
I'm just on board with Chris Johnson, and I fail to see how this is a sustainable internet connection in terms of staying connected to the lobby, and yet Wheelnut is. Actually, you know what, Wheelnut is worse, never mind. I was going to say, how's Chris Johnson staying in here and Wheelnut isn't? But yeah, no, to be honest, it is a little bit worse. But Chris Johnson, surely he's right on the limit. But he's quite lucky that it is Monaco and he's not really near anybody anyway. So it doesn't really affect anyone unless it already has affected Cena. And if it has, he's already ahead. So hopefully it doesn't affect anyone.
Dom has got a big lead now, and I think it will be enough to get him out ahead to Say Sports after the pit stop. So will he possibly pit now and be able to get the jump on? No, he does not. Now, will Jacko come in? No, Jacko doesn't come in either. I don't know. Maybe that might have been a chance there for Jacko to have pitted, as Chris Johnson has now respawned into a legit position of sixth position, and Cena is indeed in fifth place right now. Mike Nguyen has got that penalty, remember, so can Cena maybe close in? So within 3 seconds, come the end of the race, we'll find out. But the battle at the front continues at 1.9 seconds. I don't know, maybe Jacko should have pitted on that last time around.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose... I don't know what the pit lane loss is around here. It's not much, though, because you do cut the final corner, and it's a very, very short pit lane.
So... And he did basically that's crashed out of the race. I think it's 18 isn't it?
Seconds clear. Yes. Although it seems Ironically, they don't really seem overly keen on safety cars. They're happy to have the cranes and the F1 cars working in harmony when
Well,
a
the
car
marshals
crashes
are
out.
quick around Monaco, of course.
Yeah. Well, their swift work has prevented any slowing down of this race. So we have green flag racing yet again, and crisis
Dom's in,
averted. Dom
and
pits
so is
then.
Jacko.
Okay, I don't really see the sense in Jacko pitting. Surely you'd have to do the opposite because now he's just going to come out behind Dom and it's just going to be status quo.
Yeah, but I do think Jacko should have pitted on that last lap because look at this. Here's Say Sports now coming through. And I wonder if Say Sports might hit the wall actually because Mike Newton closed right in on him there. And if Jacko was to have pitted on the previous lap, he would have been able to do a full lap in total clean air on fresh tyres there. So I think he might regret that decision as Say Sports comes in. So Cena up into fourth place now.
Which is good for Cena, of course, because I believe that will easily take him to the championship lead, given the difficulties that Wheelnut, who's now 3 laps behind, is having out there. I believe he may just be an AI at this point.
Yeah, it's a huge shame for Wheelnut in this championship. It really is, but he's gonna need to come back fighting next week when we go to France and Hungary. France, Hungary, Spa and Silverstone, the 4 races remaining in this season after tonight, and it looks as though Cena is going to go into it with a lead in the championship. I said before in qualifying that he was that he was incredibly consistent.
Let's gloss over it.
Obviously that sort of didn't end up happening, but certainly in this race he's doing okay, and it looks as though he will be heading for the championship lead. But look at Jacko closing in here. He's got the gap to under a second, and maybe we will have a fight for the lead. Remember, these are the two who are sort of clinging on to championship hopes right now, and certainly you would both love to win it.
Yeah, because of course they do still have an outside chance of this championship, and they will still gain a decent amount of points here on Cena. So there is still plenty to play for here with Cena currently only P4. And not really making massive inroads on Mike Noon, although I did see Mike Noon have a massive moment coming out of the final corner. So I think Mike Noon's focus right now should just be keeping it on the circuit. But Dom then getting the gap back up to over a second. I think Dom, he can afford to just kind of chill out in front, because of course track position, as you know very well, Daniel, is highly important around this circuit, and it's very, very difficult to overtake despite having fresher tyres. So
same in Singapore as well.
Yeah, I mean Singapore. I mean, it's a place where it can be quite difficult to overtake, and yeah, you can put in quite the defensive drive, despite your tyres being a bit worn. But tune into the TGP1 stream from last night in case you're missing that reference. But
yeah,
Jacko then is back to within half a second of Dom then, so he's definitely not letting him go out in front. So Dom under a lot of pressure, as he was in the first stint from Mike Noon. But of course Mike Noon had an incident which released Jacko up into P2. So Dom then just needs to keep his head, because it's really mistakes that generate overtakes at the circuit.
Yeah, it is indeed. As the night begins to fall in here in Monaco, and you go through the tunnel and you don't have to adjust their eyes too much as they exit it. 6/10 is the gap now, and they're coming up to another lap car here, and if Dom gets close enough to it in time, he might be able to steal DRS for the next time around at the start of the 15th lap of this race. And when you get into this kind of stage in a race around Monaco where you're fighting for the lead, it's just all about not making a mistake. You just have to be so careful, as Jacko literally taps Dom there, the back of Dom, and he gets the line. Dom does not have DRS, and will Jacko fancy going? He's using ERS. Is he going to try and send one? He's late on the brakes into Sandevot, and just makes the corner. He's getting closer.
He definitely is, yeah. The problem with Sandevot though is that it pinches on the left hand side, as we have a retirement there from M-Shape. It's not too late for a safety car, a virtual safety car, but normally they have it thrown by now, and they seem happy once again to just let the cranes do their thing. and pick the cars up and let the cars race on by.
It is incredibly strange. I think we had a safety car in TGP1 here last season, but seemingly whenever there's a crash in TGP2, we just never really deploy VSC or any sort of safety car around Monaco. But the marshals, as you say, obviously doing a very good job, as Jacko still so close to the back of Dom now. This is the battle for the lead, and effectively it's sort of a battle for third place in the championship as well right now, and getting ever closer to the top two. Dom, did he just snatch the wall slightly there? The exit is from Phil Chicane. Jacko's going to have DRS once again, and it's all about just trying to get a good run through Anthony Noakes. And I have to say, Dom looks like he got a fantastic exit there, and Jacko won't be troubling Dom on this time on this lap.
Yeah, I mean, that's track position again. Like the final corner, it's very difficult to kind of get a better exit than somebody because you're very limited in terms of the line you can actually take through the corner. There really is only kind of one line through that corner. So, if only some of the corners could be opened up just a little bit more, but that final corner is not somewhere where you can really try to be different to the car in front. There's a little bit of contact between the two of them going through the hairpin, just the concertina effect that you tend to get at that corner. But Dom then with a better exit through Portier, so Jacko then will not be troubling him. Actually, let's just get the telemetry up here, because do you know what, they're very even in terms of their battery deployment. That's a poor exit there from Dom. Jacko immediately on the overtake, trying to find any little chance of an overtake, but was not going to happen into Tabac. It's a very fast, very narrow corner surrounded by walls. It was just not really going to work for him there. But Jacko then very close yet again. Terrible exit from Raskas though, and Dom with a much better exit through the final corner. Of course, dirty air will be affecting these drivers, and Jacko will probably be pushing a lot harder than Dom because he's not the one in the lead and he's the one who wants to get past.
So what we're seeing right here is the beauty of Monaco. There's no overtaking going on here in this battle for the lead, but they're so close, and all it takes is one tiny little error and you're probably going to hit the wall, and it could happen at any time. And that is the jeopardy of Monaco, and why personally I always enjoy it, even if it doesn't necessarily create much overtakes. I know you disagree with me, Roy, but this is the beauty of this track, and what makes it so special. Can Dom hold on here for the next 3 laps, or will he make an error to gift Jacko the win?
So the thing that makes it special is waiting for something that may or may not happen.
No, not waiting. It's the jeopardy. It's the jeopardy of it. The possibility that it could happen at any minute. As still, again, Dom gets so close to the wall there. And, Jacko hit the back of him. And hopefully that hasn't gave too much damage at all there to Jacko.
No visible damage anyway from what I can see. And definitely, no one really at fault there per se in terms of any penalties or any stewards inquiries. So he still looks pretty close then, as Dom, his ERS light is flashing at the back of his car. He kind of misses the apex there at turn number 3. I wonder if he is struggling a little bit with his tyre grip as they encounter some cars they're about to lap. Now of course they will be ghosts, but still a mild distraction as they crawl through the hairpin. And Jacko getting a big chunk of oversteer there as he goes over the curbs, but still pretty even out in front between them despite all of that. Despite them having their own little moments out there, they're still pretty even at the front, and the gap still within a second, and it is the closest battle that is on track. So let's see then as we head into the final 2 laps plus a sector to go in this Monaco race. Can Dom hold on as Jacko? Do you know what? Indecisive Mackie got a penalty as Jacko missed that chicane, and I did think for a second there that it was Jacko who picked up that penalty, but it was not. Jacko with the DRS once again. Dom with the grey exit once again. He's going to be nowhere close heading into this first corner. I think. Does he have damage, do you think?
No, I don't think he has damage. I think what Jacko's doing here is I think he's building up his ERS nice and steady, because I don't think he's used it for a while. And
he's used a little bit.
Is he possibly going to wait for the start of this final lap and to try and have a go down into Saint-Devote? That might be the plan here for Jacko. He's in the 30% now. He'd probably be in the 40% maybe by the end of the lap. And Dom is 19, 18, So Jacko might have one final go, one final lunge, one final attack down the straight, which isn't really straight, of course, at the start of this final lap. That's provided he makes the corner there into the chicane, which he was very late on the brakes. Oh, he gets a bit of a slide on as well. But I tell you what, we saw Jacko have that big moment on the last lap. I think Jacko's going to be quite close to getting penalties. Did somebody just touch the wall there? There's some debris flying through the track. Did you see that to back?
Is there a car ahead of them?
I don't think Dom hit the wall, but there was definitely some debris that got kicked up there. Very strange, but here we go then. And 44% ERS Jacko has left, and he's still not using it.
He's going to probably just dump the whole thing on this final lap, go up the hill now with his overtake deployed. Surely does he realise it's the fastest lap? Yeah, the last lap. Not entirely sure. He's probably going to use it on the run to the Nouvelle chicane.
Yeah, it must be, mustn't it? I mean, it will. Surely you can't finish the race with such a high amount and then realise he's getting so close, isn't he? And is he going to have a go on the final lap?
I think he's wary that
on the exit of this tunnel.
He's normally a bit quicker than Dom through the hairpin. I think he was a bit wary, took a wider line. Oh, he's kind of missed the apex of Portier there. But look, there is the deployment that we expected him to use. Is Dom using any of his? He doesn't really have any to use. But Jacko then, he gave it a go. But I think that is probably it now. It's just a question
Maybe not.
Will Dom make a mistake? And Jacko did not get the run into the back. So just one final sector to go.
I'll tell you what, he's still going to have a bit left as well at the end.
He's glanced the wall. Will he give it a go? I mean, he can afford to probably give it a go and not be overtaken behind. But through the final corner then, absolutely fantastic controlled race from Dom Smith. Dom wins in Monaco. Fantastic drive. Defended the whole way through the race. First from Mike Noon, then from Jacko. They threw everything they could at him. But in the end, it was Dom who got that start, got into the lead, and kept it from start to finish. So fantastic win from Dom, doing his championship a whole load of good. Mike Noon completes the podium. Actually, do you know what? Fair play to him for finishing the race. It looked like at several moments he wasn't going to.
Chris Johnson's in fifth place. He hasn't got a front wing, and Say Sports is catching. And actually, Chris Johnson has a penalty, so I think it's 3 seconds as well. So Say Sports will get fifth.
So Chris Johnson then crosses the line, and he'll take 6th instead of 5th because, of course, as you said, he got that penalty. He must have lost that in the final lap. But Sayer Sports then an excellent drive once again up into 5th place for him. Nell Jack a very strong P7. Mr. John will cross the line in 8th. Let's see where he ends up. Probably 8th. Yeah, it is 8th. Everyone else has been lapped, or well, John Menzies also had the same amount of penalties. So in the end then, Daniel P. Wheelnut apparently is 11 minutes and 21 seconds behind the McLaren of Angel versus Death. I don't think he's going to steal a point. I think he was too many laps down. Although he probably only actually really completed about 2 sectors of this race on his own. So disaster for Wheelnut. And actually, do you know what? It's still letting them go.
Yeah, it hasn't actually credited.
So maybe he'll get P14 now.
Yeah, he might get a point.
Might be a bit illegal.
He might pick up a point here at once the standings are all added up. But certainly Dom will get the full 25. Who got the fastest lap? It was Mike Noon who got the fastest lap. So yeah, it'll be 25 points for Dom. And that will put him on to 194 points. Oh, there we go. Oh, he's left the session, that's why.
Well, at the end of all this, it's Cena who will lead the championship by some degree of points, which I'm sure you'll work out. I don't really have for it right now or ever really. Oh no! Can we strip him of his win for this? Like, good.
Imagine doing that in front of Prince Albert and what's her name? Charlotte. What's her name? Charlene. That's it.
Good.
Yeah,
God.
I was right, wasn't I? Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know, but yeah, of course, Monaco famous for its crowds and some of the interesting looking spectators, which race directors of the past quite like to focus on. But
yes.
Sorry, that's extremely niche, but
Yeah,
but the
that is ridiculously niche.
the only other person who gets it is the person who's commentating with me. So anyway, we'll move on. And I've gone into something else here. What have I gone into? Driver standings, which means nothing. So here's the results. They're on the screen. I don't have the time to run through them because I had to kind of backtrack. Classic Martin Brundle from the ITV era. Anyway, that's all I'll say.
Yeah, here the standings. It's Cena on 225 points. Wheelnut will be on either 219 or 220, depending if we get a point or not for that Monaco race. So really, only that fourth place for Cena means that it hasn't, he's not massively ahead. In fact, all it takes is one race win, and Wheelnut will be back ahead. So it's not awful for him, but obviously he would have preferred to have taken part in this event. Jacko is on 193, and Dom will be 1 point ahead now on 194. So it has tightened things up massively between all four. It has brought Jacko and Dom slightly closer into it, and it has gave Cena the lead of the championship.
So fantastic night for the Barbadian, who he's not actually Barbadian at all, is he? Well, I don't know. Some confirmation on that will probably eventually come our way, but I think I may have had this question before, and we just don't know. But yeah, that was a fantastic night of racing, and Monaco was just a lot to concentrate on, and you almost kind of forgot there was a second race, or a race preceding it, because just not a lot of moments to catch my breath there. So anyway, we will be back next week for Daniel. Do inform us of where we're heading off to next week.
Yeah, it's France and Hungary next week.
France and Hungary, two very, very different tracks. One is full of slipstream and easy overtakes, and we've got the Hungaroring, which is a place where you can also utilize track position rather effectively, and that's something that has happened in TGP1 a few times with certain drivers. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed tonight. Pretty sure we certainly did. I say pretty sure, we definitely did. I definitely did. Did you, Daniel?
Yeah, I did.
There you go. So we enjoyed tonight. Hopefully you did too, and hopefully you will join us next week at around 7:30 British and Irish time for France and Hungary. So we will see you then. Good night.